Okay, hi everyone and welcome to this video. This is your captain speaking. My name is Ross and today we are talking about foregrounding authors in a literature review. Now by foregrounding authors I mean making them an important part of your literature review, making them quite front and center in your literature review. You talk about what authors do, their findings, and so on. I'm making this video because I've often found that students don't do this when they submit literature reviews to me. I've seen many literature reviews which actually don't include a single author's name in them, which is very problematic because it's a literature review and authors are given high importance in them. Now you will find some literature reviews that essentially just look like reports. They have a bunch of facts and findings and so on and citations, but they don't really put the authors front and center in the foreground. But that type of literature review, the one that does put the author front and center in the foreground, that is the one I would like you to practice for this course. So that is what I want you to do on your literature reviews for this course. So how can we achieve that? Well, what I would like you to do is to try and answer some questions for your reader when you are summarizing texts for a literature review. Now, in your literature review, a big part of that is going to be giving a concise summary of what other authors have written on your broad topic. So, what questions can we ask so that we can answer them in order to summarize for our readers? One is simply who researched. So here, this essentially just means giving the author's names. Very often you will use the author as the subject of a sentence. So Klein researched X, Y, Z, so on, something like that. What did the researchers research? So then you talk about the specific topic that those researchers researched. And you will say, how did the researchers research? Here we're talking about the methodology, the investigative tools and methods that the authors used to carry out their research. And then, what were the researchers' findings? So, yeah, straightforward. What did the researchers actually find? What were their results? And then what conclusions did the researchers draw from their research? So if you put these 5 questions together, if you get the answers to them, you can make them even in bullet points like this if you like. You can string those together and you will have made a pretty decent summary of what previous literature says. So what I want to do is just give you a couple of examples here. So here I have extracts from 2 excellent literature reviews on a previous course, or 2 different previous courses actually, which students have kindly allowed me to reproduce for you here. So what I'm going to do is take you through how they've answered some of the questions that we just looked at. Before that though, it's important for you to get a general understanding of what's in these texts so that you know what I'm talking about. So what I would like you to do then is just pause the recording here, have a quick read through of these 2 texts so that you know what's going on in them, and then come back when you're ready. Okay then, hopefully you've got the general gist of those 2 texts. Let's talk about the questions that we're going to look at then. So, who researched? Fairly straightforward. I've highlighted them here in extract A, Huerta Langua et al., and then in extract B, in a cross-sectional observational study by Ogundibe et al., determined So, here in both cases we have the authors as the subjects of a sentence. That's essentially all we need to do. If you refer to the authors later on, you can use their names again. If it's appropriate, you might also use other pronouns or synonyms. So here we have they, because it's clear that we're talking about these authors, or in extract B here, the researchers, things like that. Okay then, next, what did the researchers research? So In both cases here, we have the topic made clear to the reader what the researchers actually looked at. So survival and fitness of the earthworm, yada, 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 and then the proportion of Tanzanian females who apply folic acid, yada, yada, yada. Very clear, very straightforward to the reader what these previous authors actually researched. Then, how did the researchers research? We are talking about the methodology, the investigative tools these researchers used, and both of the former students here have made that very clear in these sections. The methodology is outlined very well. Okay then, and then what were the researchers' findings? So again, very clear, we have these stats in both cases. The findings are made very clear to the reader. And then, what conclusions did the researchers draw from their research? So in this case, it's only really extract A that goes into it. It goes into it fairly briefly here in saying this suggests selective gestation by the earthworms. So you can go into the conclusions a little further if you like, but in this case we've just got it in extract A. Okay then. So here is a pro tip for you. You can use the abstracts to articles and theses and things like that to help you identify this important information, to help you answer these questions. So here I have an example abstract. Now, be aware that not all abstracts are going to look like this. This is what is often referred to as a structured abstract, where each part is given a heading. Here we've got purpose, method, results, and conclusions. Sometimes a structured abstract will also have a heading which is titled as background before it gets to the purpose. But very often you will see different types of abstracts. For example, one that is referred to as an informative abstract, which doesn't structure out with headings like this. It just has it all as one block of text. So then you have to do more work to identify the purpose, method, results, and conclusions. But generally, a lot of abstracts will contain those things. It's just that they don't have the headings. So be on the lookout for them. So how can we use the abstract to identify important information? Well, if you read the purpose, if you identify that, then that helps you identify the answer to the question, what did the researchers research? If you read the method, of course, that refers to how did the researchers research, and the results, what were the researchers' findings, and the conclusions, of course, will tell you what conclusions the researchers drew from their research. Now, I'm not suggesting, of course, that you just read the abstract, but it's a good place to start because it helps you identify what you need to identify, and then you read more in detail in the article to get the overall idea. But if you look for these things in the abstract, it's a good place to start. It helps you be on the alert to look out for the information that will help you answer these types of questions, so that you can then render the answers in a readable, succinct manner to your readers in the literature review. Okay then, so that was pretty much it for this video. Well done for making it through. As ever, if there are any questions, let me know, shoot me an email or ask me in class. Cheers, and I'll see you next time.